Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's nice to be here again. Um, we have a little change of plans. Usually I plan to play Pole World today, but yeah, there was a little accident at my work today. One of my customers well, I'm working retail as my full job, and one of the customers just smashed the purchases like on my hand, and my hand hurts quite a bit, so I'm not really able to play Pole World today because the one finger kind of hurts really badly. So but it's not swollen or anything, so I don't think it's something bad or something that just hurts quite much. And I tried playing Pole World like for a few minutes, and it just hurt a little bit too much. So I don't actually want to play that today. So I thought we'll play Lake of Voices. It's an horror novel game, and a friend actually told me it's quite good. So I thought we'll play that because I only have to read and like click through the story. So I probably will do just that. So I'll probably play only one walkthrough. So yeah, it will probably be a little shorter the stream today because I don't want to cancel it like last week. Because last week I was feeling really unwell, and I went to sleep like kind of directly after work hours. I just ate something and went to sleep because I felt really bad last Tuesday. I didn't want to cancel today, so I thought we'll play a little bit, just as long as my hand allows me to. And I think it shouldn't be a problem to play for like an hour novel game. So yeah, I'll start the game and then we can start playing. Let's go to the game. Yeah. Are you seeing the game? I don't think so. Come on, game. What's happening here? Come on. OBS? Ah, here is the game. Okay. So let's play it a little bit of Like of Voices. I think that will be kind of fun. Because I'm also wanted to try it out like for some time now. So let's play it today. Let's start. We'll need to make various decisions through Like of Voices. Here are a few dates to keep in mind. Certain choices are timed. Oh, time choices. Time running out isn't something to completely avoid. In some cases, not getting involved can open new possibilities. Other choices aren't timed. These options only determine whether Kika has any special affection to another character or not. I think it's us. I think at least. To survive until the second night, the story will branch into one of 5 different plot lines based on your earlier decisions. The other characters cannot manage all situations in the various plot lines regardless of what you do. If a character is making a try getting that plot with a different set of survivors, or having the same group of characters venture through some other storyline. Becoming closer to someone can add and or remove future choice options and change how some scenes play out. Your decision to build that connection may not go unnoticed by the other characters. Earning the full amount of affection with certain characters can require getting into specific plot lines. Returns to previous text. Key opens full text. Okay. Oh wait, I think I put my character on the other side. I think I am taking up the wrong space. Wait. Let's put me just over here. Okay, this shouldn't be a problem. Okay, I think that looks better. This shouldn't be a problem, right? That looks good. Okay, my grip on my lantern tightens as the fog around us thickens. While the forests in this area are relatively safe compared to Sinlo's, I can't help but feel my hair stand on end the further we get. My free hand fingers the hilt of my sword, something akin to a nervous reflex.
Have you seen it before?
Okay, that's better. Have you seen it before? Bemel. Bemel breaks the silence, either sensing my unease or assuaging his own. I hope it's the latter.
I haven't. I've had no reason to go near this cursed lake until now. What of you?
I hope it's loud enough. I'll make it just a little bit louder. Yeah, okay. I think that should be okay. Bemel scratches his chin casually, as though I asked what his favorite food is.
I traveled a long way around it once before. Not so pleasant. Something about it just frays your nerves. Although, even being near it is enough.
So I'm not the only one who feels it. A sense of relief hits me, but not enough to undo the buzzing of anxiety. The lake, Zinlos. Most try their best to avoid it all their lives. The hundreds who die attempting to cross its unearthly black water, dragged to death by the creatures lurking within, aren't the secret.
No wonder you were assigned this mission.
There are few who've had first-hand experience with the place, even if from a distance. He'll probably keep being picked whenever they need someone to cross, for however long he's with us. Emma shrugs, bringing my attention back to the dark path before us.
At least we're taking the bridge this time. It'll only take 2 days instead of double that, and the sooner this place is behind us, the better.
It would be preferable not to risk it. But time is of the essence. We don't really have a choice.
In the way. I need to... This is better. One of our allied villages, Hammer, is being harassed by brigadiers, a band of ruffians. Ruffians? We don't have many guards to send us an assist, only Bemel and myself. The least we can do is arrive before we are too late to be of any use. These kinds of squabbles happen often, but have to be put down lest they turn into a blood grudge or all-out war. The last we heard, neither option was that far off.
I can also see why they chose you to come out here.
I glance at Bemel, an eyebrow raised, as the light smile plays across his lips.
You're always so calm and so serious. Nothing can get to you. You're the best choice they had.
A smile now tugs at my own lips. I would like to thank him, but that wouldn't be so calm and serious as he just described. And if that's how he sees me, I'd like to keep it that way. My lack of reaction only makes his smile grow, and he chuckles a bit before refocusing on the path. I do the same. It wouldn't be right to let my guard down in a place like this. Bemel appears to feel differently, however.
You know the town on the other side of the lake, though. It's not so similar to ours. If all goes well, perhaps we'll have enough time to enjoy the new area.
For the most part, I ignore him, nodding when applicable. Emma's a talkative sort, and if chatting helps keep his worries down and his sword and ready, I have no complaints. After a time, the thick fog surrounding us begins to clear. A slick wooden dock comes into view, and with it the sounds of water gently lapping at its sides. Bemmel shifts beside me, stretching his lantern arm as far as it will go. He seems tense.
Someone's already here.
A young woman stands by the dock, eyeing us warily. Does she intend to cross tonight? Evidently, she has the same question as we step up next to her. It's clear she isn't simply passing by. She's waiting. The stranger nods curtly to us.
Margaret.
That's Margaret.
Kiga the Steadfast.
Bamele. Hello?
There's a stuffy silence. Margaret turns to gaze out across the lake. Expression unclear. With not much to say, Bemel and I do the same. From here, the black surface of the lake looks disarmingly calm. Wind rushes across its surface and sound like whispering. Though perhaps it actually is whispering. I concentrate, trying to place the difference, searching for breaks and rhythm. After a few seconds, I feel foolish. It doesn't matter what the noise is, whether I hear them or not. We're not alone. The Nixie are out there. A feeling that I can't quite shake tells me they've already noticed the little group of people on the shores. It feels hostile. I stomach things, and I instead address Bemel.
Where is the guide?
Unless he's on the center island, or on the complete other side, your guess is as good as mine. It's dark as pitch out there.
Panic rises inside me. Panic I try hard to quell.
We can't cross without him, and we need to get going soon.
You can't cross with him either.
The one behind us, Margaret cuts in with something like a snort.
What?
I know the guide will be here tonight. I have already made arrangements with him to cross.
Bemel and I share a look. The one seems haughty and willing to put up a fuss.
I have his word he'll take me today. It would be wiser for the two of you to begin the trip around if you're really in such a hurry. Or you can make camp here and wait for him to make the trip back if you prefer.
I don't need to turn my attention to Bemel to know he's riled up. I step in before he can say something rash.
Even if that is so, my companion and I must begin the trip tonight.
Margaret is unimpressed and opens her mouth to argue further.
We'll wait for the guide to arrive before coming to a conclusion about any of this.
She clamps her mouth shut, then lets out a sigh.
You can do as you like.
With the matter tentatively settled, Bemel moves away. His finger begins to tap loudly against the top of his hilt. He shifts from one foot to another, then groans.
What's that bastard even up to?
I almost visibly start, but manage to restrain myself. He probably doesn't know any better. I'm sure of that. It's not worth mentioning.
With a mouth like that, you shouldn't even have the right to ask the guide to take you across.
How ludicrous. He's faced far worse than a bit of foul language.
Do you know anything that's happened with this lake?
I know enough.
Margaret is clearly not convinced, but she shrugs and makes a show of turning her back to him.
The guide's father is Garvin the Exemplar. Garvin never accepted the guide as his son, all the way up until he died, in this lake. Your statement could be seen as tasteless.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, indeed. Emma rubs the back of his neck, his face regretful.
My apologies to the guide. I didn't mean it that way. I never knew about his... well, that.
A smile spreads across my face. One I quickly wipe away, he really did just misspeak. The silence slowly stretches between the three of us, growing more awkward with each passing second. Margaret seems irritated and Bemel abashed. Quite informed, Margaret. I'm sure you are forgiven, Bemel. Say nothing. You're quite informed. I'm sure you are forgiven, Bemel, or say nothing. I would probably say nothing. Because it's not my thing to forgive. And I don't know if I like Margaret, so I say nothing. We each remain locked inside our own thoughts, not another word passing between us. Eventually, a small light appears on the bridge ahead, gently swaying through the foggy air. It gets closer and closer until it becomes apparent it's a figure carrying a lantern. It must be the guide, although I can't shake the ghostly aura it gives off. The figure steps onto the shore, but we wait for him to approach us instead of going to meet him. None of us are sure how close to the waters we can get before it is no longer safe. He stops in front of us and simply stares.
Are you the guide of Sinlos?
The man nods. He has a sharp face and wary eyes.
Well, that's grand. We would like an escort across the lake.
The man motions to the two of us, and Margaret approaches, a strained smile on her face.
Hello, it's good to see you again. I'm ready to cross, as we've agreed upon.
The guide turns to face her as well, face remaining unchanged. It must not be a lie. He would had to say something otherwise. She really does have preference to travel with him. That's a problem.
Is there a way we can all begin the trip tonight?
Yes, I will allow all three of you to go. But with that many, at least one will die before we reach the other side.
It's hard. I frown my brow. It's a disturbing addendum, and one offered with a little emotion attached. The man glares back, asking without asking what we're supposed to do with such circumstances.
You should go around.
The sentence hangs in the air, the second half unspoken, if you want to live.
We don't have time for that. There are people counting on us for protection. Why does she need to go?
He jerks a finger at Margaret, whose face contorts with anger.
I don't need to explain myself to you. My journey has already been put off once, and I was promised I could go today. I will be going under any circumstances.
A fierce lady. Like that? She meets Bamel's eyes with a gaze of steel. He starts to speak, and she cuts in.
An extra day or two shouldn't be that much of a problem for you. Whoever you're meeting can surely wait such a tiny amount longer. Patience is a virtue, after all.
The night is only so long, and if we're still on the bridges when the sun comes up, we'll all die as they sink back below the surface. If you don't decide soon, no one will be going.
The guy is dispassionate, stoic. I would almost feel something's wrong with him if I didn't share the trait myself. The man puts me to the side, jaw clenched tight.
That woman isn't armed.
Voice slow, he darts a glance at Margaret.
We can easily get her to back off if we make this into an actual fight. After all, we have to go tonight, yes? If one of us really is to die, it'll be her. Would staying be a worse fate than her death?
That's hard. That's really hard of you. I stare at the dog, refusing to meet Bamel's eyes, and try to keep my voice as level as possible.
We don't know her situation. This isn't a decision we can make for her.
Yeah, I see it like her.
What?
What? Bamel leans in closer, apparently having missed what I said. I remove the sympathy for her in my response when I speak again.
The guide won't accept something like that, I assume.
Probably.
Then what else do you have in mind?
First of all, you and I cannot split up. Either we both stay, or we both go.
Right. That's not a question.
Yeah. I cross my arms, a hand on my chin. I have full confidence in my abilities and in Bamel's, but there's no reason not to believe the guide knows exactly what he's talking about. If we go, he might not be able to give the group the attention we each deserve. That would mean we truly would be putting Mark's life at risk on top of our own. We need to
I
go.
believe you.
What's with that music? I don't want that music. Bemel's reply is firm. My steadfastness seems almost weak in comparison to its eternity. He addresses the guide.
We shouldn't waste more time. Let's shove off.
The guide slowly turns around without even a nod to show his agreement. Margaret stares at Bemel, something off will resolve from her gaze. Then she follows after the guide. At least she didn't insist we stay behind.
We should do what we can to protect her. It's our fault she's being put in even further danger.
Exactly my thoughts. We will take care of everything. Maybe I'm being naive, but I have no intentions of letting anyone fall victim to this lake tonight. Those monsters can starve.
But you've been okay to just kill her? So we can go to the other... I don't know if I like you. Just to follow the others across. I will protect everyone on this trip. I will. We will make it through this. I don't think we will. Then I step onto the dock and join them. As soon as I step onto the wood, the temperature drops. The light of my lamp shines against the water's surface, as reflective as a mirror. Until we reach land again, death is only one small mistake away. We fall into line, with the guide leading the way. Margaret stays close to him, and I behind her, watching to make sure she doesn't slip on the slick wet wood. Bemel brings up the rear. Each of us holds our lanterns in front of us, but it does little good. The fog is thick and nigh impenetrable, I think, consuming the light as if hungry for it. Above the surface of the lake, it's deathly quiet. No longer is there the whispering wind, nor the sound of water lapping against the shore. It's just our own mismatched footsteps and the sound of my quickened breathing. My eyes switch back to the lake. Against my better judgment, it's no wonder there's not even the sound of water. With how still the surface is, it seems almost sturdy, with the sheen of a black marble floor. It rumors the water of Sinlos is heavier, more difficult to disturb than natural water. That just the weight of its oppressive cling is enough to keep someone down, even without them. Something even darker than the abyss of the lake flickers just below the surface, or at least I think it does. Turn my gaze to Margaret's back. It's better to stay focused.
Fall back a bit. You're following me too closely.
The guide is looking over his shoulder, addressing Margaret.
I'm sorry.
If someone gets pulled into the lake, they'll instinctively reach for anything to hold on to. Do not let that be you.
Okay. Margaret's shoulder rises, and she nods with great seriousness.
I understand. Thank you for the advice.
He ignores her gratitude.
You can speak amongst yourselves if you so choose, as long as you pay attention to where you're going. There is no worth in listening to the sounds out there.
Okay.
If there's anything at all, it'll only be Nixie trying to set you on edge.
Creepy.
All right. Then, could you tell us your name? You didn't have a chance to properly introduce yourself, and I've only heard you being referred to as the guide.
I don't have a name.
Oh. Why I don't have a name? It's really sad. Oh, baby. He's facing the front again, his voice is expressionless as before. I have no way of guessing how he feels as he says this.
Oh.
It's probably not something he wishes to talk about. However, there was something else I want to say, so changing the subject is not difficult.
Margaret, thank you for allowing us to join you.
Margaret shrugs non-committally. Oh my goodness, what are those words?
It wasn't exactly up to me. The guide said he would take you.
She hesitates and then she looks tentatively over her shoulder at me.
But thank you for saying that. It's appreciated.
He can be nice. That's
Bemele
okay.
and I will do our best to be an asset on this trip. Rather than a burden.
Bemele. I will still call him Bemele.
That's nice. I'm not afraid to be out here, though. Still, at least with your training, you should be able to take care of yourselves.
I hope so. It's comforting to know that everyone here is so confident in their abilities. Not enough to forget how terrible it feels to be over this lake. I am not sure if that is fortunate or unfortunate. I am not sure if that is fortunate or unfortunate. Now we got it. Believing yourself to be secure doesn't mean that you are. As the conversation loads, a new sound breaks through. It's the whispering noise again. It's the chatter of inhuman voices. And this time coming from all around us.
Taking care of yourself is exactly what you need to do.
The guide is speaking again, except louder as if to cover the Nixie's voices with his own.
Work to survive at all costs, and hope that everyone around you has enough sense to do the same. That's the only way you'll make it to the other side.
I hope he's not too dramatic. Margaret nods in response, but I hear a grunt from behind me. Oh, Bimmel.
Groups tend to go further when they work together to achieve the same goal.
The guide doesn't say anything in response to Bimmel's grumbling either. I'm not sure whether he didn't hear Bimmel or whether he just didn't feel the statements made thus far are worthy of addressing. Probably the latter. I think it's the latter. Yeah, I do. We go around a large bend in the bridge, part of it forking off to another way. Wonder how the guide knows which one of these essentially identical paths is correct, and something in the corner of my eye catches my
I
attention.
believe I saw something over there.
Keep walking. No need to worry.
The guide's voice is calm and level. I decide against pressing the issue, not wanting to set everyone even more on edge.
What did he say?
I was not wanting the conversation to be caught by the guide. He speaks softly, though I couldn't quite hear him because of it. There is something behind you, my friend. I take my eyes off Margaret ahead for a moment to explain it to Bimmel and stop dead in my tracks. Only one word is able to escape me in my stunned state. Behind. Oh my. Behind Bimmel stands another figure, looming in the darkness. Seeing my face, Bimmel grabs the hilt of his sword. He whips around and staggers swiftly backwards. 7 meters away, a crooked, twisted black figure hobbles its way towards us. Some kind of liquid drips off its head, curling around the edges of its face. It almost looks like it's crying. Bimmel backs up until he's standing beside me. The figure continues its slow advance, head jerking from one angle to another.
What on earth?
That's creepy. Oh my.
It's one of them.
It's one of them.
Yes,
Nix.
Nixie that stumble across the bridges looking for opportunities.
The guide is standing next to us. I didn't even notice him approach.
The ones that can make it out of the water are generally referred to as prowlers.
Okay.
I had no idea things like that were out here. Is that what Kika saw down the other path?
The guide says nothing, instead returning to the front of the party. Margaret watches him pass. Her frustration morphs into nervous optimism when something seems to calm into her mind.
Well, Nixie aren't slowed down much by swords, but at least the light keeps them away, right?
Margaret's hand grips her face tight, and desperation bleeds into her voice. I bite the inside of my lip.
Direct light will force it to return to the lake. However, it'll try to drag the light, or you, down with it before it goes.
Oh, okay, that's not that good. Instinctively, I reach for the hilt. Okay. He could, but I don't think he wants to. Wait, I need to put the chat dock a little bit higher. Wait. There. Yeah, I think he's kind of a jerk. I think he'll be the jerk on the characters. So, I feel like in all novel games you have like one jerky character, so I think here he'll be it. But I think if he had told it, I don't think I'd take, but it's the only guide. He's the guide. There aren't more guides. It's only this one. So, and I actually don't know what he does it like every day, you know? So I don't know how well it would go on my mental health if I would go every day or like every other day over this bridge with those things in the water and on the bridge. I think I would also kinda numb myself after all those years, probably. Instinctively, I reached for the hilt of my sword, despite the fact that it would do little to protect me. The prowler is getting closer, jerking forward, stopping, then resuming its slow advance.
Okay, does anyone have a light we can leave here? That way it won't follow us.
I don't know if I would do that.
Only matches.
Misfits. He's the one bringing up the rear, so he's the one most likely to be in danger if it keeps following. The guide, however, moves forward.
Don't forget it's there. Don't let your guard down, and don't get left behind.
What? How am I supposed to keep walking with this thing at my heels? You said it wants to attack.
Don't give it the chance.
Bamel sputters in anger and the guide summarily ignores him. I solidly grab hold of Bamel's upper arm. But I actually have a problem. It's not the problem that I don't like the guy or I think the guide is a bad guy. I think he just saw enough in the last years and learned from the mistakes many people made. So I actually kinda like almost every time the more jerky guys in games, because I think I would have much fun to tease them. Like, to the core. Yeah. Bimel sputters in anger and the guide suddenly ignores him. I slowly grab hold of Bimel's upper arm.
Here, I'll lead you like this, and you can keep your focus solely on the prowler. Make sure it doesn't get too close.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Bimel eyes the guide with unresolved hostility, but allows himself to softly sigh in grief. He gazes at me with fondness.
At least there's someone I can count on.
I hope you'll live the next day. Despite the fact I'm going against his advice, the guide says nothing more. It's clear now that he doesn't give a damn what we end up doing. Some part of me is glad for that. Well, the guide is only there to say what you should do, but he won't force you to do it, because he knows if you're doing something wrong, it's your life, like, you're playing with, right? So, yeah. I want to help everyone make it through, and it would be worse to have to persuade the guide every time help was necessary. Yeah, it would just take away the time.
Kika, thank you.
You're welcome. Then places a gentle hand on my shoulder. Will not. Why not? Bemel's face hardens in return. He moves his free arm down. I full link his arm with mine and now properly settled look forward. Margaret is following the guide with some reluctance, turning back every so often to check on us. I wave my lantern to signal we're catching up. Margaret returns her head to the front and quickens her pace. With Tuck and Bemel, we start to follow them. Oh, I don't like the steps. The four of us continue cautiously over the bridges. Only this time the wet, squishing footsteps of the prowler join the sound of our own. Yeah, and I don't like that. Paul walks without a set pattern, sometimes fast, sometimes slow. It takes long steps, then short ones. At times it stops walking entirely. Does it hurt to be out of the water like this, or is it trying to be difficult to reach? Suddenly, the whispering in the lake grows louder. I see myself trying not to let it get to me. The most important thing in a situation like this is to remain calm. I can't lose my head. Then, all at once, I notice the guide and Margaret have come to a halt.
Emily, they're stopping.
Emma slows down as I do, and as we near Margaret's back, she says with something akin to distress.
There's another one.
Oh shit. I talk on Bamel and he understands. We draw up close to Margaret, ready to protect her if need be, but the guide holds out a hand.
Don't get any closer.
Okay. Just over his shoulder, I see another prowler stumbling towards us. White liquid dripping from its eyes. What? Oh, that's nasty. The guide's hand turns over in the air, palm up.
Give me a lantern. We'll throw it.
Okay, now we're gonna throw a lantern. Morgan thinks her own with her trembling hand when Bamel speaks instead. His back's still
If
turned.
you have to take someone's, take mine.
The soldier.
Yes, an extra light won't do us much good when we're standing this close together.
Margaret takes Bamel's lantern from him. Guarded relief. The light on her features.
Thank you.
She hands the lantern to the guide, whose hand grips it tightly, knuckles the growing pale.
Stay here. I can't throw it too far. The light will blow out before it reaches the Nyx.
He steps closer to the monster, his movements light and confident. As he nears, the prowler starts to back away. Is it only the approaching light that's making it retreat, or are they afraid of him? The guide is far enough away from us that the fog is partially obscuring him. Hiding his movements, the voices from the lake grow louder and louder. Water suddenly begins to splash across the lake, in the distance and onto the edges of the bridge. That doesn't sound good. They want him to mess up. I don't notice how tense I am until Bamel eases my grasp on his arm. Then suddenly the guide takes multiple long and fast strides forward, throws her lantern and jumps backwards to regain the lost distance. There's a sharp hiss and then a deep splash, and the voices of the Nixie grow quieter. Not silent, but quieter. A sigh escapes me, and the guide comes back to our group.
We should keep going before it comes back.
Probably. Inside Bamel and realize he too is looking relieved at the guide before us. And then I see it. Oh no, please don't. I don't want to. Shit. The fifth prowler, it's still there. It's right there. Pull him away. I shift around, pulling him behind me. The prowler lunges after him, barely missing Bamel, but striking my lantern instead. The fire goes out, and the two of us are plunged into an unearthly darkness. Then there's a slick splash. I was the Nyx has retreated into the water. Somehow, Bamel and I are still standing. We are still here.
Kika, thank you.
We lost our light. Oh my. Can't respond. Something cold, wet, and slimy has grabbed my ankle. No! Please don't. I don't want this. Kick it off! I kick my leg out of as fast as I can, and the Nyx hold slips. It can't pull with the momentum I've gained against it. Margaret rushes to my side, her lantern hanging out towards the Nyx. The light brushes its face. We see it for an instant, its eyes wide, and then it slides back into the smooth surface of the water. Oh, that's horrible. Bamel grabs Margaret and I, both helping us towards the center of the bridge and cussing under his breath.
I only looked away for 1 second.
Yeah, that was 1 second too much.
It's fine, Bamele. We're all fine.
This time, but we lost 2 lanterns. That's not good.
Are you actually alright?
Probably. Margaret cocks her head down, examining my ankle, but there's nothing but a wet smudge around my trousers.
I am fine.
I'm still alive. So... I said that, though I don't actually want to let go of Bamel. I need to in order to relight our lantern and provide us actual safety. But I feel such a strong desire not to be alone. Right, it just took out the light, not anything else he didn't destroy it. I shake my head wrath and let go of him, relighting the lantern as fast as I'm able.
Kika, thank you. Again. You saved my life. I won't let this happen again.
We'll see. You're doing something.
Yes. Yes. It would be good for all of us to pay more attention.
Yes, those thingies are sneaky. Margaret nods solemnly. Suddenly it seems like we are all on the same side. It's only Bemal and I. She is with us and more than simply present. The guide's voice, as cold as that monster's grasp, ends my train of thought.
We lost the lantern I threw. The Nyx grabbed it after the light went out.
Ah, not good. Margaret makes a noise. I glance over, wondering whether she's upset, but there's a small smile on her face instead.
It's better than them taking anything else.
Spring was coming out for lecturers if it was there for a while. Yeah, should be, but I think most of them would take the route around. I don't know what Margaret's reason is why she needs to go through the lake. But we have like we have a job to do, like help people. I think most people just don't go through the lake. They just take the longer way, because it's better than going through that. I would actually also take the way around the lake and not through the lake if I know there are those horrible things in the water. Never. You wouldn't. Nah, I wouldn't go there. Not with not if I hadn't a good reason for that. Never. I never slow Barbards up out of me, and just as quickly it stops. Bemel chuckles in response. Our collective tension eases up. The adrenaline draining from our bodies.
We need to keep walking.
But yeah, I would also take a crossbow. And probably 1 or 2 spare lanterns. Or something like that. Yeah, I think that's at least that everyone has like 2 lanterns. But I think even crossbows won't do much with those things. They're like watery things or something like that. I'm not actually sure what they are. Some water monsters. Because I think if... because they've said that the swords won't do much against them, so I don't really think that crossbows will also do much. So I think, but it's at least they should have like a few spare lanterns. The guide starts down the bridge again and we join him. I try to clamp down on the relief the east that wants to flood my head. It's not over. The prowler's gone, but so is Bemel's lantern.
You can stay near me, Bemele, since your lantern is lost.
It's lost.
I appreciate it.
Way they don't do much against those Nixie things, so they can't really fight them. In that regard, they are only going to the other city to fight those people that are attacking the city, so that's why we have the swords with us. But yeah, the only thing that's good against Nyx is light. That's at least what I got until now. Mark goes on ahead of us. Bemel stays by my side as I keep at the end of the line. The breath of release, yeah, for Margaret and Bemel is quickly swallowed by the somber atmosphere of Zynlos as well, replaced by the gravity of the near-death experience. Never mind celebrating his survival. Something like that shouldn't have happened in the first place. The memory of the prowler reaching out towards us appears each time I close my eyes.
Why does it look like something's dripping down their faces?
The prowlers are on Margaret's mind too. Looking at her pained expression, it's as though the moment of relief never existed at
I'm
all.
not sure.
Yeah, I'd actually also would like to know.
Me neither. Something's wrong with them, though.
Well, it's monsters. Sure, there's something wrong with them.
They live in water. Air shouldn't be good for the things, but they want to drown humans so much they're willing to drag themselves around on land? It's not right.
Yeah. Of course it isn't. They are monsters. They likely do not understand even the concept of right and wrong.
Well, I don't disagree that there's something very wrong about them. I truly, truly hope that's the last we'll see of the Prowlers.
Something comes to her mind, causing Margaret to end her part of the conversation early.
Since you two have to share a light, wouldn't it be safer to be in the middle?
Margaret stops and waits for Bamel and I to reach her position.
That way, you'll catch the edges of my light and the guides, and it won't be so dangerous if Bamele loses his position momentarily.
That's a very kind offer, Margaret.
Bamel's surprise is so apparent, I want to cover his face with my hands to stop him from insulting her. She merrily smirks. I think Margaret may be surprised with herself too. Then I returns to his usual surety.
As thoughtful as it is, I, at least, am fine with bringing up the rear. I'm used to keeping watch for monsters, and since there are two of us, I can pay attention to the back while Kika focuses ahead. It's not my light, though, so I shouldn't be the one to decide what she should do with it.
Mark and Bamel turn to look at me in unison. Seems like it's my decision. Of course. Why not? Neither of them are wrong. As for me, my goal is to protect everyone. I can't very well do that with Margaret following behind us. But being stuck in the middle of the group could also be dangerous depending on what signals we come across. Getting pincered by the enemy would be an almost shooter, no matter how experienced Bamel and I are. I just don't know what to expect from this bridge, and that makes things so much more difficult. I will stay behind.
So you're staying behind?
Yeah.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Yes, I think we'll be good here.
We'll see if this decision was good
But
or not.
really, thank you. That was a very kind offer.
Yeah, that
Well,
was.
alright.
Margaret suspects our decision, trots ahead, a bit to catch back up with the guide, he who has paid no mind to the entire affair.
So, I don't want to sound like a child, but how much longer until we arrive at the halfway point?
Margaret chuckles, reflecting the amusement I don't want to vocalize.
We still have some ways to go.
Damn.
I suppress my laughter yet again and this pouting response. The gloom we've been under dissipates slightly, like light flickering through the fog.
The first trial tends to be the most difficult. I believe we will only react better from this point on.
I hope so.
I like the way you think.
Then a gleam enters Bamel's eyes and he grins.
I think Kika deserves a round of applause. Her quick reflexes are owed the utmost appreciation.
It's okay. He leans softly into my shoulder, trying to get me to... what?
It was indeed a sight. You're quite capable. Bemele was also a sight, but for very different reasons. The way he froze with his mouth all agape was a laugh in itself.
Bamel shakes a fist at Margaret in mock anger, then shoots me an affectionate look.
You should know, she and I are usually on equal footing.
I don't see that.
The only reason you had footing at all is because she pulled you back.
Bamel self-consciously scratching his head.
That's very true. You can always count on Kika.
I keep my eyes steadily ahead, unsure how I should respond. I'm pleased, almost grateful, to hear what they think of me, but I don't know what I could say that wouldn't seem pathetic. Instead, I contribute the best way I can. I keep my focus on the path ahead of us. Without a response from me, the conversation quickly dies out. Still, it eases my heart to be on such friendly terms with my companions. After some time, I notice Margaret isn't keeping up with the guide as much as she was before. I realize it's because the guide has increased his pace. Margaret begins to jog in an effort to keep up with him, and Bamel and I do the same. Despite this, the guide keeps getting further away. Ooh. We go faster and faster, and suddenly we are full on sprinting across the slick wooden boards. Figures in the dark, fog fly past us as a blur, and it occurs to me the branching paths in the bridge appear to be sinking. I try hard to swallow my rising panic. The guide shouts something, but is drowned out by the frantic pounding of our footsteps. Ooh, shit. Trying to piece together what he said, don't stop, turn? And he takes a masterfully sharp right down a different path using his own momentum and the sleek wood to slide into the new direction with no loss of speed. Margaret must not have worked out the warning either. She's completely caught off guard by the guide's change in course. She went straight ahead, past the turn, continues down the path we've been following up until now. She clumsily begins to hold her momentum down the wrong bridge. Then I come upon the fork. Turn! Ah, shit. Oh. Damn it. I don't think it was the right choice. Can I go back? I was supposed to stay as loud as they were before. He's made the turn as close behind me as ever. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Margaret turn around to try to come back to us, only to have the bridge in front of her fall away. Slow down for her breath, feeling the impulse to turn back, but ignore it. There's no time. I can make the jump and then she'll join us. I keep my eyes glued to the guide's back, ears perked for Margaret's footstep approaching behind us. And then I hear it. A scream. I whip around, deciding to stop. Margaret is sinking. The bridge she's on is sinking into the water. She's disappearing. She didn't jump.
What are you doing?
Margaret's head shoots up, her face drained of alcohol. She stumbles near the edge of the bridge, staring at the placid water of the lake. Even from a distance, you can see her shaking. You can say if it's from the bridge's descent or her own fear. She barely seems to remain standing. I swallow painfully. Margaret bends and tries to jump. She curves in a small arc, achieving more hay than she should, and lands directly into the lake with a muted splash. Oh no! Ernest starts beside me, but I grab his hand and pull. We start running again, leaving Margaret flailing in the water behind us. Don't need to watch this. We both know exactly what will happen to her now. Margaret's anguished cries pierce the night. Then the screaming stops. Oh. I feel bad. My legs grow weak, it isn't right, but I push myself to keep going. Emma curses between heavy breaths, calling those things every full name in his large book. I try to focus on the pounding of my feet, but my brain won't cooperate. Instead, I imagine Margaret's terror as she's clawed to pieces by the Nixie. After everything I didn't help her, we left her in the dark. As the night wears on, our strength rapidly fades. How long are we running? How much longer will this last? People have to rest sometime. Also, as if in response to my thought, the guide abruptly halts. I skid to a stop as well, sliding on the surface of the wood.
Why did we
Stop. Emma's voice is tired, but his guard is up. The guide doesn't answer, just stares at something slightly out of view. I step up to join him, following his gaze further down the path. Oh! Hi? There, curled in a little ball illuminated by the lantern's light, cowers a person. His hands grip his head, and he rocks from side to side, mumbling incoherently.
It's a man.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I couldn't. I just couldn't. Please. I'm sorry.
I'm stuck with an array of questions. What is going on? Why would he wander out onto these bridges on his own? Didn't he make it this far by himself? Were the others with him? That's somehow the case. I can't blame him for the state of shock he's in. Horribly. He stops mumbling. He glances above him, seeming only just now having the strength to lift his head. The expression, the deepest sadness, along with the clear markings of terror, are scrawled across his face. I stare at him in shock, not sure what to do.
Leave him.
I stand my ass away from the man and instead to the guide's cold, implacable face.
No! We can't just leave him here. Without light, it's certain he'll die.
He won't make it regardless.
The guy turns to look at us, his eyes seeming to glow from the closeness of his lantern. For the first time I feel uncomfortable in his presence.
Whoever shelters him will only risk dragging themselves down with him. Leave him.
Especially we have only one lantern. We would need one lantern for 3 people. If we had Margaret with us, that there would be a possibility. As my partner, Wim is outraged. I'm trying to think of some kind of compromise when the guide speaks again, his voice cutting.
If the man comes, then whoever is shielding him will have to remain at a distance from the rest of the group. Far enough that you can't see me, just my light. That is how you will travel across the bridges.
Yeah, but we only have one lantern. Like for those people that stay behind.
I didn't agree to lead this man, and I won't. If you ask me to, I will leave you all behind.
Adrenaline surges through my veins and I tense up. It's a painful reminder that the guide isn't here to save our lives, but meant to show us the way. We're on our own. Wim and I frantically share more looks between each other, trying to communicate without words. Neither of us have a desire to speak and be the first to make a choice. The man is standing now, though still hunched with his arms wrapped around himself as if expecting a blow. He is at the ground rather than at us. Because of this, I'm having trouble reading his face. What exactly happened to him?
Are you well, stranger? Do you know where you are and why you're here?
He glanced up, not at me, but towards me, his eyes resting somewhere near my collarbone.
I'm fine. You all can go on your way. Forget you even saw me here.
I can't. I already let Margaret die.
That's absurd. You have no way to defend yourself. We can't leave you.
Yes, I'm sure in your eyes I might not seem like much, but that's not exactly a fair shake. Maybe in a perfect world, every man would be as large as you. But that's not how things always go. It doesn't mean I'm defenseless.
I don't want to see him die, actually. The man's response is meandering. The words themselves seem to be in good jest, but he's still bare looking at us, fidgeting with his hands. And I frowns, unimpressed.
It was a joke.
Can still pull jokes in a situation like that. He smiles hesitantly, making eye contact with each of us for the first time.
What part of it was supposed to be the joke? Do you even realize what is happening in this moment?
Never mind. Forget that too.
What's happening?
Point is, I'm alright.
You have found yourself out alone and unlit on Sinlos.
Exactly. Something must be wrong with you.
Oh no, sounds like you've been talking with my father.
Let's out a weak little laugh, coupled with an eyebrow raise, the voice trembling. No one really knows what to make of this. The man gives a small wave and begins down the path we came. Mama half tossing his hands into the air.
That's not even the right way.
It is for me.
Oh? You must have come quite a ways if it was the other shore you started on.
The man's smile grows.
Good. That's not so bad.
There's no response to his remark, unsure of what could be said.
I still think he should come with us. A person needs a light, and the guide himself said he won't be able to manage on his own. Sticking with us is his best option.
I go over the man's body, noting the scrawniness of his limbs. Scrawny, but not necessarily lacking muscle. The bravado he was showing as he tried to relieve us has faded yet again, and now he's standing quietly, looking at us as if watching a play. Interest, but not in connection to the events.
It's easy for you to say such things, but whose light are you offering? It's not mine, and you are putting her in even more danger with your own presence already.
The man's hands turn into fists. He looks away, but doesn't say anything. For a moment, no one does. I feel cold sweat on my brow as what I feared comes to pass. He's stopping us from protecting another. Why must he get involved now? Why can he not leave us to make our own decisions?
You. Don't worry about me. I'll be on my way now.
That doesn't feel good. The man's voice is full of something cannot place, and he starts to shuffle back down the way we came, arms still clenched around himself. I know the guide wants to act as though there was no option, however I could stay back with him. Put the man and myself at significant more risk, but at least this man will stand a chance. I already let Margaret die, I can't do it again. I straighten my arm out like a rod, blocking his progress past me. He stops. Perfect.
I am not afraid to stay behind.
What did he say? Wait. I'm not afraid to step behind as long as Bemel can remain up front with you in your light. Ah, okay. The guy doesn't say anything, doesn't even blink. Bemel smiles sadly at me.
One can always count on you, Kika.
The man meanwhile stands with his mouth agape, truly and genuinely shocked.
Well, what will it be?
That is fine by me. I can stay on the fringes of your light. That way you won't have to worry about a repeat of what happened earlier.
The guide doesn't acknowledge him. He stares at the stranger. The man shakes under the tension.
No, really. I could just go on my own. It's fine.
I step closer to him, landing the support he seems to desperately need.
You do not need to go this alone. I will protect you.
I hope that doesn't end like with Margaret. Oh. The man stares at me. I return his gaze, willing him to see my certainty. There need to be no more blood spilled tonight. That was enough. I heard the few melts of his face, replaced with something like resignation. Then he drops his gaze to the floor.
Okay.
All right.
Alright. I grasp his shoulder and turn to the rest of the group.
You should get a head start, correct? You'll have to put some distance between us.
The guide seems to agree as he starts to walk away without another word. Emma smiles first at the stranger and then at me.
Take care back here, alright? We'll all be together again when we reach the halfway island. It won't be too much longer now. We'll have a nice little camp out, and you can properly introduce yourself to us. Maybe even tell a real joke or two.
The man emits a nervous little laugh and ducks his head. The prospect must not be enticing to him. With the stranger having pulled himself out of the conversation, Bemel looks seriously at me.
I'm sorry to put you in even more.
Stop.
Bemel shakes his head, still smiling.
I don't begrudge you at all. In fact, I'm glad you did. All I want is for you to remember that goal. Each of us, together, on the island, and then on the other shore, safe. This isn't about what our job is, or where other people need us to be.
I nod in response, Bemel opens his mouth and closes it. He swallows hard.
You two.
I'm surprised to hear his voice wavering slightly. He swallows again, then continues.
You two should look out for each other.
Will do. He takes a few steps back, as if to go, but his eyes don't leave mine. The guide's figure disappears with only his lantern to lead the way. Emma is finally forced to leave us behind and catch up with him. The job? Well, the job of me and Bemel is that we need to get to the city on the other side of the lake and help the citizens with, I think some people that are attacking the city. They are like soldiers, something like that. Yeah, and that's what, and they are like being attacked like at the moment, so we need to get there as fast as possible. Yeah, something like that was it. Watch him disappear into the fog, an odd feeling in the pit of my stomach. I don't recall the last time I had difficulty seeing someone leave.
You should go after them.
Don't go on my nerves! Redhead guy, you're gonna go with me. I start. I almost forget the man was there, standing right next to me. Now he looks at me with desperate eyes.
You don't need to do this.
I don't care what you're saying.
What?
I'd rather know you returned to them safe, and that you all had a chance to make it back together. The way they acted, having to go on without you, no one would feel that way for me. I'm not worth it.
Stop speaking like that.
That's not.
I stop unable to say the last word. Can I claim that he's wrong? There's the one thing he has seemed sure of, and I do not know him. Empty platitudes may be worse than nothing at all. He smirks at my mumbling reply. I'm caught off guard by the change. With only that, and it seems he's in his element.
It's true.
No. He continues to grin, more so to himself than me.
You lot certainly made a scene, huh? That's nice. Being loved and all.
He clarifies after I must have given an undecided reaction to the statement. I am so disconnected with myself, I am unsure if surprise appeared on my face. Of it was a lack of emotion that put him off.
I don't know exactly what kind of love it is you share, but there has to be a bond in that group of yours.
Maybe a tiny bit. He laughs and then speaks quietly.
Doesn't matter. I can still try for the other shore. Go.
I stay. My certainty shocks him. I can tell immediately he has returned to his meeker self. The man starts to speak again, but I interrupt.
We should start walking. That should be enough of a head start for them.
He hesitates a moment, but ultimately begins walking at my side. I'm relieved. Can never be quite sure what will come from this one. We move in silence. The man doesn't seem to want to speak anymore, but he keeps glancing at me as if expecting something. Well, but didn't we run before we met him? Because the bridges were sinking? Shouldn't we run further? They should be keep sinking, or am I wrong? Somehow his odd behavior is comforting rather than disconcerting. Disconcerting! I don't know that word. Perhaps it's because he's more nervous about all this than I am. It's putting me at ease, making me feel more capable. I shouldn't allow myself to get comfortable, however. We are in a more dangerous position than ever. The whispering from the lake, so faint after Bemel's close call, now surges forth. It goes nigh unbearable, the creatures teeming below the surface. Do not speculate on what has them so excited.
Have you a name?
Have you a name? The man chuckles dryly.
Barely.
Barely?
I don't really know what I am to take from that.
Me too. This time his thought is more of a bark, quickly out of his swallowed bike up. Then he frowns.
Lou. Only 2 letters. So barely.
I see. What are you doing out here without the guide?
Perhaps the question isn't appropriate to ask. After all, only the darkest of circumstances spurs someone to cross the nose. But this situation is very strange. I might even go so far as to say it's suspicious. I know that's not fair, but I can't help it. Years spent anticipating danger have made me wary.
That's a good question. I'm not sure I know myself.
Okay?
What does that mean? Is that some sort of joke too? Or do you genuinely not remember how you arrived where you are?
It should. Yeah, they should have asked that question first, yeah.
No, it wasn't a joke. Or, well, there is a point to it all.
I feel like he just came here to die. I don't know. Then his voice, already by nature light and airy, drops to a whisper.
But I don't know why I even tried. You'd think that I'd be able to call a spade already, right?
He looks up, noticing my gaze still leveled at him. Then he
I'd
shrugs.
rather not talk about it.
Trust guide. Probably for answers instead of trying to avoid the fuss. Yeah. Yeah. What has become the norm? I don't fully understand what he means, but I can at least guess that he's not very happy with himself at present. And I like it or not, he won't be sharing his real reasons with me. Well, at least now he won't share them.
What about you? What brings you out on this little adventure?
Work.
People. On the other side. People who need my help.
You have someone waiting on you? Then why are you risking yourself on me instead of worrying about what's going to happen to them?
Humor burst forward from my speck of a lot. Is that really what he took from this? I survey his face with a flick of my eyes, but there's no mischievous gleam to his look now. He's serious. We hold eye contact for a moment and he yet again stares down at the ground.
Sorry. I didn't mean to be disrespectful. It just fell out somehow. I wasn't thinking.
Yeah. His stare shoots back up at me, eyes wide.
Of course I'm going to be there for those counting on me. But you aren't nothing. I won't simply turn my back on you.
Yeah, especially after I killed Margaret. Sorry, Margaret. He smiled sadly, the kind of smile only someone who has experienced great hardship has. A smile I'm all too familiar with.
I probably have to disagree. Still, that's nice of you to say.
We may not know each other well, but you wanted us to go on without you for our own safety. You even tried to have a sense of humor about it. That counts for something.
My son is far from grand, yet he becomes distinctly bashful all of the sudden. Twitching his legs with each step, he hangs his head and mumbles his next phrase. Sadly, he seems unaccustomed to receiving praise.
That's true. Thank you for staying back with me. It's kind of nice.
No need to thank me.
Oh, right. I can't even show gratitude correctly. Of course.
I go to give him a look, but he's smiling. He looks less pitiful than usual. He seems content while crossing Zinros. How? Why?
It is not funny to make a joke out of thinking that way about yourself.
If you don't want people to say things like that, then you shouldn't reject their thanks. Either I did right by thanking you, or I did wrong.
Fine. You're welcome.
This time he lets out a real laugh, though a short one.
I'm glad.
He stretches his arms out in front of him and elongates his strides, so he's walking a bit ahead of me. It's what's wrong with me. He's relaxed and completely unguarded. He's even fine with distancing himself from the light. All the odd comments he has said so far. Then a thought strikes me. Maybe the reason he's so calm is that he doesn't care what happens to him. My heart plummets into my gut. For a time, there's a word of peace in the silence between us. Then Luz sighs heavily.
I never could have seen myself in a situation like this. It seems things really aren't over until they're over.
Did you think it was over?
He doesn't answer immediately. When he does, the reply is accompanied by him grasping himself, like he might fall apart if he lets go.
Yeah, I did.
That would have been the normal outcome for the situation. Alone, lightless, shouldn't have asked. I must have let the frown slip through because Luz smiles a non-smile. He stretches his hand behind his neck and gives a little chuckle.
Something really is wrong with me. Somehow, I feel lighter.
Alright, well, maybe this is good. If he's feeling better than he was, then perhaps his view of himself will improve.
I wonder who'll still be left standing when this is truly all over.
Last man standing. What?
Everyone will be.
No? Think you forgot Margaret? But that isn't the truth, but I cannot bring myself to say anything else. This is the group we have now, and I will not let him believe it is a lost cause. I think he should have that information, maybe?
You know
Maybe.
It's not possible, don't you? Someone will go. You should focus on making sure it's someone else.
You don't seem to be concerned with self-preservation.
Not really. They came out more hostile than I had expected. He doesn't mind it.
True. But it's not the same for me.
I still don't know how I'm supposed to interact with a person like him, because then it's already not a strength I possess. Regardless, Lou echoing that sentiment was not something I had expected. The whispers from the lake, which had already grown, now speak faster and clearer. The individual words are almost audible. I'd likely be able to make them out if I knew the Nyx language. A split second. I wish I did. The light in the distance still drifts along in the same manner as it did when we first started walking, which I take to mean the path hasn't turned so far. Hopefully that means we're still on the right path. But the light, it got brighter. Strong enough that I have to glance away for a second, and the next time I look, The light has grown. The bridge is on fire. Oh shit. I grab Blue's arm without thinking. He's standing there stiff, staring at the glow, eyes dull.
Going to run.
We are going to run. Oh, okay. To hell with the guide's order. If we don't go now, we will never go anywhere again. Blue doesn't respond. I give his arm a small tug and he appears to come to himself when he nods at me. Make the decision then that I won't let go of his arm. I don't know what will happen to him if I do. We take off, the heat growing with each step. The dankness of the bridge means the fire is spreading slowly, but it makes me question how it began in the first place. There is no end to how wrong this place is. It takes 20 paces before the air around us ripples, then starts falling into itself. Thick smoke pours over us, stinging like scorpions at my eyes. Cover my mouth with my free arm to keep breathing, and soon we're at the fire itself. The bridge lurches beneath us as if the beams supporting it are starting to give way to the thousands of flying sparks. Blue stumbles and pulls against me for support, but we keep our guard. I start pulling him through the blaze. Don't have time to gather our bearings. We know how long we have until the bridge collapse or is devoured by flames. We continue weaving across the bridge, shielding ourselves from the heat. I can see a faint figure in the distance through the smoke, and as we draw closer I realize it's Bemel coming our way. I press on to meet him, towering up alongside me. Bemel is absolutely beaming when he notices us. Can't help but match the look of relief on his face as I approach him.
What happened?
I take a moment to steady my breathing after getting the most pressing question on my mind
A
out.
group of prowlers were in our path. His solution to that was throwing an open flame at the damned monsters. He knew he'd be setting this entire place ablaze. It didn't matter.
Oh my.
Did the guide leave you behind? Is he gone?
I begin to see at first, but as I speak I can't help the roar leaking into my voice.
The guide is not a man you need to worry about out here. I chose to stay back. There was plenty of light to go around thanks to him.
Yeah. I balk at him.
That is not a plan, Bemele. You need a lantern to make it. What if we didn't find each other? Do you realize how easily you could have gotten yourself killed?
Yeah. The statement comes out true as I clench my fist in frustration. Bemel mirrors my anger as he barks back at me.
I've seen what happens to those left to catch up, Kiga. They don't. I wasn't going to keep running this time and leave you behind.
Yeah. Swearing my retort, I close my mouth and look at him solemnly. After a moment I sigh. This isn't the time for discussion, and after what Margaret went through, I can't blame him for the conclusion he came to. Suddenly the bridge began to quake once more beneath our
We
feet.
need to leave. Which way did the guide go?
Yeah.
I don't know for sure, though he went off in that direction. The fog overtook him, but I didn't see him turn.
That will work. Lou?
I look around for him, realizing he's not with me any longer. At some point I let go of his arm. He's standing to the side, gaze glazed, transfixed on the darkness. I step forward and yank him back to my side.
What are you doing?
He flinches at the unexpected contact and looks attentively at me, but he doesn't offer an explanation.
I'm sorry.
That is all he ever says. I let go of him.
Both of you stay close. We are not going to separate again.
Okay. We keep down the path, the flames still gradually gnawing on the flame here. The guide doesn't turn up, nor do any signs of him, but we push on. We will not stop moving. Then we do. The bridge comes to a dead end of rotted out boards collapsed into the lake. For a moment our breathing stops at once. This was the way that led to the island then. I feel back to face the other, my expression unaffected. I'm not going to allow panic to sap this group of judgment.
Let's look for another bridge.
I resolutely begin retracing our path. The other follows without protest. Our regression is silent except for footfalls and the snapping of soggy wood attempting to burn. We frequently have to step over smoldering sections trying to come alight. At one point we even have to walk one at a time, sideways to avoid a wildly flickering small fire billowing out black smoke. Just as my spirit is beginning to dim, we came across different directions to take. Among all the forks are only two that aren't collapsed or too consumed by fire to risk following.
We're going to have to pick one.
That sounds uncharacteristically doubtful of himself. Going down either path, there's a palpable sense of anxiety coming from him.
I don't know. I don't know which way.
I'll probably have to
It's
decide.
alright.
But it's not a while. We have to have something to go off on. at all. A cold sweat triggers its weight on my back. Before anyone tries to random choose, a noise catches my attention. I hastily addressed the two.
Did you hear that?
A whistle?
A whistle!
It came from the right.
And I try to look. This could be the thing we need, but what if it isn't?
Do those monsters know how to whistle?
I don't think they know.
I don't know. It seems unlikely. The air isn't pleasant to them.
We should go right, I think.
I'm not surprised he was offering his own opinion. It's good to hear, however. I take a deep breath.
I agree. There's more of a chance the whistle was a sign for good over ill.
Maybe it was the guide. Our course decided we move as one down the right path, no longer hesitating. As we follow the bridge down, there's no sign of the end. There's no need to debate between directions again. We start to outpace the fire, one danger thankfully fading away, but the night continues to lighten regardless. I glance at the sky and realize what's happening. The sun is rising. The bridge will sink into the water as the darkness disappears and take us with them. We will be lost. It suddenly seems pointless. We don't even know whether we've gone the right way, and we still haven't caught up to the guide. We can't outswim the Nixian. We can't outrun the dawn. We're going to run out of time. Yet we keep moving forward. And finally, our perseverance rewards. The silhouette of an island rises in the distance. The island grows rapidly larger, and soon the sands of earth and trees reach us. In spite of all the horrors of this night, a dock emerges from the fog before us, welcoming us to safety. We reach the shore! And I think this is enough for today, because my hand hurts as hell. So I'm going to save it right here. Okay, I think it's saved. I save it double, just to be... Okay, so we saved it. Turn to the main menu. Yes, please. Yeah, okay. So, I think this is enough for today, because my hand really hurts right now. Let's quit the game. And swoosh! Yeah, so I think it was enough for today, because my hand really hurts after that. A little bit more as before. So I think I should end it before it gets worse. So for today it was, I think it was kinda interesting. We'll see what happens next time. I think maybe I played through on Thursday. I don't know how long it takes, because this took actually longer than I thought. So, and if there will be time after that walkthrough, because I really like to know what happens next. Maybe there will be time to play a little bit more of Paul World. I hope. Or else I'll just play the walkthrough through and then I'll play Paul World next week again. Okay. So I'm going to go to sleep now. So I hope you have... Oops, it's a little bit loud. So bye and good night. Until next time, Eli. Bye bye. Good night.